So we're going to use our calculator, right, to find these roots. See what happens. Can we see all of them? How many are we supposed to see? 4 of them, right? So you go to your y equals x to the 4th plus x cubed. Oops, went to the wrong thing. Minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 24. Okay? So again, pay attention when it graphs in case it bends or bounces, right? If it bends, did you want to start now? Start, Brooke?
Yeah.
Okay. If it bends, remember, it has odd multiplicity. So it'll work at least 3 times, and we haven't seen anything that worked more than 3 times as far as being an odd one. And then if it's got even multiplicity, it works at least 2 times, and most of them were just 2. Every now and 4, you got teacher on paper. Okay, so I'm gonna hit graph and see what happens. Going straight through, straight through. All right, so no bending, no bouncing. All right, so I only saw 2 of them, right? So I have to find the other 2. Okay, it looks like -3 and a +2. I'm gonna go to my table. Let's do this first. So you guys can see it. Anybody having calculator issues? Everybody's doing okay, hopefully? There's the 2. And there's the -3 from the table. Okay? Again, we're looking where the y is 0. That's where it crosses the x-axis. That's the y value. Okay? So -3 and a +2. So what's going on here, if I can't see the other 2, they're going to be non-real ones, imaginary ones. So I'm going to have to use synthetic division to simplify this original polynomial down to a quadratic that I can solve using the quadratic formula. Okay? So we'll just do it right here. I want to use, again, it doesn't matter which one you start with, the -3 or the 2. 1 for the x to the 4th, 1 for x cubed, -2 for -20. And we haven't had to add a 0 for a while, but remember, if something doesn't show up, you still need to add that 0. X to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x to the 2nd, x, and your constant, you need it. All of those will go down in order. Okay? So make sure you just check that. So drop the 1, -3 times 1 is -3. 1 plus a -3 is a -2. -3 times -2 is a +6. -2 plus 6 is +4. -3 times 4 is -12. 4 plus a -12 is -8. -3 times -8 is +24. I get 0. I'm supposed to get 0. If I don't get 0, I made a mistake. I have to check my work, okay? So hopefully it worked out for you. And I do the 2. And I don't start over. I just use those numbers that we just reduced it to. Drop the 1 again. 2 times 1 is 2. I get a 0 here. 2 times 0 is 0. I get a 4 when I add, and 2 times 4 is 8. And I get a 0. Okay? So remember, when we started this was x to the 4th. After I do it once, it's x cubed. After I do it again, it's x squared. Okay? So that problem there, right here, the 104, is x squared plus 0x plus 4 equals 0. That's the one I have to solve. This is much easier for us because the b value is 0, so I don't even need that. I can write it as x squared plus 4. So when it's like this, I don't have to do the quadratic formula. I can just subtract 4 and then take the square root of both sides. If you use the quadratic formula, that's okay, but this is a little quicker. So x equals plus or minus, and what is the square root of -4? 2i. So there's my two imaginary or non-real zeros. So the four answers, the four zeros are -3, +2, -2i, and +2i. So that's going to happen sometimes where we can't see all of them. So we have to simplify it by using synthetic division. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay.
So when only like two of them, you can say in the graph, and you just go straight to the synthetic division now.
Yeah, use those two numbers to go through synthetic. And then again, I like it when it works out like this. When that b gets 0, then I can go a lot quicker instead of using the quadratic formula. Okay. But if you put, a is 1, b is 0, and c is 4, if you put it in the quadratic formula, you'll still end up with plus or minus 2i. Okay, so both will work. Right, Beluch? Okay, so we had 4 problems. Number 4, all you could see when you graphed it was the 5. Okay, so you had to do synthetic division for the 5, and then you got x squared minus 8x plus 25. So using the quadratic formula, you get 8 plus or minus 6i over 2, but you can divide 2 into both of those, the 8 and the 6 and the 2, so it's 4 plus I and 4 plus 3i, excuse me, and 4 minus 3i. So 5, 4 plus 3i, and 4 minus 3i. Some of you on your homework got the 5 and then you just stopped because you didn't see anymore, all right? So make sure you do what we did there. Number 8, same thing happened as in this one. All right, when you use your calculator, you get -4 and -1/3. You only see those two. So you have to put -4 in and -1/3 in. And when you reduce it, I got a 3, a -30, and an 87. And actually 3 goes into all those. So if you wanted to divide those by 3, you'd have 1, -10, and 29 for A, B, and C. And then you put it in your quadratic formula. And after you're done, then you get 5 plus 2i and 5 minus 2i. Does everybody need to see that one? Okay, so it's like that one. It's got two that you could see, and then you have to find the other 2. Okay, number 41. Some of you are messing this up. Okay, I give you the zeros. They were 3 plus I, 3 minus I, 2 plus 5i, and 2 minus 5i. And you were supposed to pick, those are the zeros, and they're all non-real, imaginary. So you wouldn't be able to see them. If I gave you the polynomial that goes with that, you wouldn't be able to see them on the calculator at all. All right. So anyway, how do we start these? Always to go the other way. Yeah, you make it into factors, right? How do you always start your factors? Yeah, groups, right? But what's in front of each group? X minus, right? Some of you forgot the X minus part. Some of you just went 3 plus I times 3 minus I and 2 plus 5i times 2 minus 5i. You got to put the X minus in front of all of them. So x minus 3 plus I. And x minus 3 minus minus I. And x minus 2 plus 5I. And x minus 2 minus 5I. Okay? So it's always x minus, and then just put whatever it is when they're complex like that. Okay? Then you gotta just multiply it out. Okay, so you're gonna multiply x times all three, which is x squared, minus 3x, minus ix. And then you're gonna multiply negative 3 times all three, which is negative 3x, positive 9, and positive 3i. So negative times a negative. And then you're going to do I times x, which is positive ix, I times negative 3, which is negative 3i, and then I times negative I. There's a 1 in front of those, so that's negative 1i squared. Okay, these will cancel. These will cancel. What's the I squared equal again? Negative 1, right? So that turns that into positive 1 then, right? Negative 1 times negative 1 makes that a positive 1. Okay? So these two red ones here are x squared, negative 3 and negative 3, negative 6x, and 9 plus 1, 10. No more i's. That's why you have to put those together, those conjugates together. Okay? And then we'll do the same thing over there. Okay? X times x times negative 2, x times negative 5i. So x squared minus 2x minus 5ix. I always go alphabetical with my variables. And then, negative 2 times x, negative 2 times negative 2, and negative 2 times negative 5i is positive 10i. And then 5i times x is positive, and those cancel. And 5i times negative 2 is negative 10i, and those cancel. And positive 5i and a negative 5i is a negative 25. Negative 25 I squared, which again, negative 25 times negative 1 is positive 25. So this answer is x squared minus 4x plus 29. 4 plus 25. And then I got to multiply those two together and combine like terms to finish it up. You should be able to do that. All it is multiplying and combining like terms, right, Mason? Stuff you should, you know how to do since 9th grade. Algebra 1 stuff. This part. This part with the i's, algebra 2 stuff. Simple though. Okay, Beard?
Yeah.
All right. So the final answer for that is x to the 4th minus 10x cubed plus 63x squared minus 214x plus 290. And 45 is the same way, except how do we do the 3/4 part? Is 3/4 is one of our zeros. What do I write? No, we don't want decimals or fractions. We want to put x minus 3/4. What did I tell you yesterday? Right, the denominator 4 goes in front of the x, and the numerator comes after the minus. So write it like that. Okay, the other two were 2 plus 7i and 2 minus 7i, so just put the x minus in front. Always start at x minus. And then don't change anything. That part, 2 plus 7i, 2 minus 7. Don't have to change anything. And then we just do the same thing. Okay? Again, you cannot do these two first. you have to do these two first so that your eyes will go away, all right? So make sure you do those two first. We have it like that. Time to wake up, Wagner. All right, so that answer, 45, final answer is 4x cubed minus 19x squared plus 224x minus 159. You guys got any questions on this stuff? Okay, so I have 3 problems for you to do. Now, before you leave, to get your points. Okay? I should have wrote them down already, but it's page 332 again. And I forget what I wanted to do. Let me look here. I should have wrote it down. 6, 12, and 44. Those two are finding the zeros. That one's like we just did, finding the polynomial. I give you the zero. Okay, so you don't have any homework. You have classwork. Get it done now. Show me. You get your 5.